Napoleon Bonaparte had a specific reason behind his introduction of the Continental system. He wanted to hurt the economies of the United Kingdom and other nations, as he felt there was a threat from them. The Continental system was initiated in 1806 as a blockage of all ports between Europe, excluding those of Russia. It was aimed at preventing any British imports or exports from coming in or going out of the ports. Bonaparte's blockade had serious implications such as the interception of shipments of foodstuffs, raw materials, and the goods of neutral countries. He sought to create economic difficulties for the United Kingdom and other European countries, and reduce the British monopoly on the seas. As a result, it made France dominant in the continent and crippling the British economy. The United Kingdom responded by introducing the Orders in Council to attempt stopping the French from invading at will. The blockade also meant the Spanish were unable to feed their own citizens, as British ships couldn't bring in food supplies. It worsened the chances of Spain regaining its lost colonial possessions and maintaining its independence. This further increased possible tensions between the European countries, leading to the War of 1812 between Britain and the United States. France was also unable to transport its own goods to England, preventing the much-needed recompense. As a consequence, the Continental system caused France to be cut off from its trade partners while the UK reaped the benefits of increased trade with neutral countries. The Continental system also caused severe economic hardship in France, negative social disruption and turmoil in the country, and a monopoly of the UK. Bonaparte, however, was not deterred, as his policy was meant to discourage British merchants from trading for goods from other countries. It led to increasing social and political unrest in France, and French people began to blame their emperor for all their economic woes. Bonaparte had failed to adequately consider the effect that the blockade could have on Napoleon's own nation. The blockade encouraged Russia, Spain, and Prussia to join forces and form a military coalition against France. This led to an eventual 7-year-long European-wide conflict, known as the Napoleonic Wars. The blockade aimed to show the strength of Napoleon's rule over the European nations, and prove to the UK that its naval supremacy was not absolute. The United States, as a close ally of Britain, was heavily affected by the blockade, as it had been economically reliant on trading with the British. The blockade, therefore, ended up backfiring as people in Europe grew tired of Napoleonic rule and slowly realized that the odds were stacked against him and his empire. The embargo was widely denounced by many political analysts at the time, and the French were accused of not adhering to international laws with regards to maritime jurisdiction. By the end of 1810, the Continental system had almost no effect on the UK, as neutral vessels had smuggled British goods into continental Europe in defiance of the blockade. Unsurprisingly, Napoleonic soldiers eventually began to defect, with many joining the United Kingdom's military as a result of the blockade. France's inability to trade meant that it had little in the way of resources to use in its war effort, and more of its soldiers began to desert Napoleon. The continuous pressure of the sea blockade eventually began to take its toll on French agriculture, as less and less imports made it into the country.